Okay, I'm going to talk about layers, what they are and why we use them. Um, this is my original photo, and over here in the layers panel you can see it says background. That's your original photo, and it has a lock symbol. That protects that background from accidentally erasing it, discarding it. That helps keep it there. If you wanted to get rid of it, you can click on the lock and you can discard it. But in this case, we want to keep it locked. We don't want to lose it. A layer is sort of like a clear transparency that lays over the top of your original photo. And that way you can make changes to the photo, but you're not affecting the original photo. And that's called non-destructive photo editing. Um, they can be used for special effects. They can help with repairing the photo, creating interesting effects, things like that. Layers can also be discarded or hidden in case you don't like what you did or you don't like the effect that you created. You can hide them, or you can completely discard them, throw them away. Let's just see over here. It's the next to last icon is your new layer button, and if you hover the mouse over it, it will pop up create a new layer. We'll just click on that. It automatically names it layer 1, and it just numbers them in order 1, 2, 3. You can click on that word itself, double click, and you can type in a name. I think we can call this Iris 1, and let's go ahead and name this one Iris 2, and Iris 3. So now I have 3 blank layers, and they are completely empty. If I turn this little eyeball off right here, click on that, and it hides that layer. I have nothing in these. They come up transparent. And if I were to say I wanted to make this person have green eyes, oh, come on, there we go. I'll just quickly pick a green color here. It's probably not a very good color. Increase the size of my brush a little. So I'm on the background, which is my original photo, and I want to make this have green eyes. Well, you see what it does? Completely destroys the original photo. And that is the way it will look. There's nothing I can do to make this show back through or anything. That's just, it has completely changed the original. However, if I go to Iris 1, which is the transparency above the background, and color on it, I can now do some interesting things with this layer. Let me get this completely colored in. I have a little bit of a small brush here. Get this colored in. Now I can do some interesting things with this. Right here it says normal. You have all kinds of choices, and whatever this is set on will affect the layers below, all the layers below. So right now it's set to normal, which is just a normal coloring, solid color mode. There are a bunch of different choices here. I don't necessarily use hardly any of them, to be honest. I mostly use overlay or soft light, and for the most part soft light. If I switch it to overlay, you can see what it did. It overlaid that color and allowed the original background photo to show through. So now it looks like the color has more depth. It looks like it's actually in the original photo instead of on the photo. I can also change it to soft light, which gives a little bit different effect. I can also change the opacity of this layer, and the opacity is how it's similar to fade and PicMonkey. It's how strong the color is over the top of the original. So if I turn this opacity down, it gets lighter and lighter, less saturated, lighter and lighter. And let's just say I want to turn it down to about 57%. Now I'm going to switch to Iris 2, and most eyes have more than one color in them, so I'm going to pick this kind of yellowish green color, and I'm going to put this, oops, let me change this to soft light now so I can see what I'm doing. That may not be the best place to put it. Let's see. Let me go back. Get rid of that yellow a little bit. Go up here, change this to soft light. I actually want this lighter color to be out here, where the iris is lighter. And now that's a little bit too obvious, so I will turn down the opacity of that. And that helps it blend in, and it's very similar to the fade in PicMonkey. I go to Iris 3, and I'm going to go back to the original green that I had, and I want to, I'll click over here on this box that shows the green. I want to get a slightly darker green. So I use the color picker for that, and I'm going to add this on the inner circle, and again I forgot to change it to soft light. I'm going to add that on the inner circle, and I'm going to put it on the outside rim. And I need to erase some of that because I made it the wrong shape. And then I'm going to turn down the opacity on that to help blend that in. Now, if I decide I really hate that yellow that I added on here, I can go back to that layer that has the yellow on it, and I can click on this eyeball and shut that off. I can also go in here and use my eraser and lighten it or have it be a smaller area. I can erase some of it. I can go in here and click on the little trash can and completely delete the layer. Now it's gone. And I can create a new layer, which it named itself layer 1 because layer 1 no longer existed, and I can name it Iris 2, and I can pick a different color. I didn't like that light yellow. I'm going to go more toward the brown, and I'm still on eraser. Go more toward the brown and add some brown in here. Set it to soft light so it blends. And I'm going to turn the opacity down, which is similar to fade, and help that blend those colors together. And that is what layers are, why we use them. If we turn these off, you can see I did not change my original, my background color. Also, if you were doing this for someone else and you save your PSD file, which is your Photoshop file, save as, and right here is Photoshop PSD. You see you have all these different things you can choose from. But if you save the PSD file, which I will do, and your person that you were doing this for comes back and says, oh no, they had blue eyes, they didn't have green eyes. Well, I can just go in here, open that back up, there's all my layers, nothing's been lost, And I can just go in, delete those three, and do it again with a blue, for a blue eye or a brown eye. So that's what's good about Photoshop and layers. It's very easy to make changes. Now, in order to post this on the web, you can't save it as PSD. You have to save it as a JPEG or a TIFF or bitmap or something like that. You cannot post Photoshop files. And normally I don't save Photoshop files because I don't go back and make changes very often, and it takes up space on your computer. But if you want to save them, the option is there. If you have any questions, let me know, and I hope this helps.